For the next few days, Gerda became the robber girl's constant companion. In the day, they would play in the forest, and every night, Gerda told a little bit more of her story before they went off to sleep. Gerda soon realized the robber girl was not cruel, just bad mannered and sometimes thoughtless. The robber girl was certainly tough. She wrestled with boys much bigger and older and always won. The boys always complained that the robber girl bit and scratched, but she laughed and said that God had given her good strong teeth and nails, so she might as well use them. Gerda was exhausted at the end of each day. She was not used to all this rough play and usually fell asleep with her new companion. One night, however, just as she was nodding off, with the robber girl snoring gently beside her, there was a scraping noise above her. A piece of grit fell on her. She brushed it away, but then another and another followed. Gerda sat up in bed and looked up at the wall. The wood pigeon looked back at her, head to one side, his mate sitting beside him. Gerda's raven friend had a loud, squawking voice, but the pigeon spoke softly with much cooing and trilling. "We have news," said the male. "Yes, news for you," replied his mate. "We have seen your friend." Yes, we saw him many months ago." "You saw Kai?" asked Gerda anxiously. She still wanted some good news about Kai, but she had learned not to raise her hopes too high after her experience with the prince. Yes, said the male bird. "It was a sad day for us." "Why?" Gerda couldn't help asking. "It was the Snow Queen." "Yes, the Snow Queen. She flew overhead. She had a boy with her, a boy with brown hair and clear eyes, just like the boy you described." "The Snow Queen?" Gerda gasped, alarmed. This was terrible news. To hear that Kai had been taken by the Snow Queen, despite all of his grandmother's warnings. "Which way did they go? Were they traveling fast?" "Why, north, of course," cooed the female. "Yes, always north with the Snow Queen. They were flying fast and low in a white sleigh pulled by the Queen's flying mare." "Low," agreed her mate. "Too low. As she passed, she breathed, and the icy blast froze our nest. Only 2 of us survived." "Just us 2. One moment 10, then 2, cried the female mournfully. "Oh, I'm so sorry," said Gerda, for she realized that hers was not the only sad tale. "At least we are 2, continued the female wood pigeon. "You are alone and without your friend. You must go north and find him." "But where should I look?" pleaded Gerda. "Where does the Snow Queen live?" "Lapland," stated the male. "Ask the reindeer. He will know the way." There was no need to ask. The reindeer had been listening all this time. He leaned forward to nudge Gerda with his shiny, wet nose. "Yes, Lapland is where she will go first. She has a summer palace up there," said the reindeer in a deep, rich voice that somehow reminded Gerda of warm milk and honey. "But you must move quickly," he went on, "for in the winter the Snow Queen will fly to her palace in the very far north, almost as far as the North Pole. If she goes there, it will be hard to follow." "Poor Kai! I must find him soon." "Do you know the way to Lapland?" asked Gerda. Before the reindeer could answer, the little robber girl dug Gerda in the back and said in a grumpy, sleepy voice, "Quiet, or I'll tickle your ribs with my knife." In the morning, Gerda made herself to be brave and told the little robber girl all the wood pigeon's story. The robber girl frowned and thought hard for a moment. "Well," she decided, "it seems that I am just one part of your adventures. I shall let you go, if you promise that one day you will return and tell me all that happens." "Oh, I promise, cried Gerda, hugging the robber girl. "Well, that's a first," exclaimed the startled girl. "No one has ever hugged me before." The reindeer snorted and stamped his hooves behind them, and the robber girl turned to look at him. "And I suppose you've been listening to every word and want to go along too?" she asked. "Do you know how to get to Lapland?" "I ought to," replied the reindeer. "I was born there. It is a land of hills and valleys all covered with soft, clean snow. I used to run and play there when I was young." The reindeer's eyes misted and shone with tears as the memories of his homeland came back to him. The robber girl snorted. "If I let you go, there will be no time for play. You must take Gerda to Lapland as fast as you can." "I will," said the reindeer with a nod of his head. "That is a small price to pay for my freedom." Gerda suddenly remembered another problem. "Surely the others will never let me go," she said anxiously. "They still think I'm a princess that they can ransom for gold." "You just leave that to me," smiled the robber girl. "The men have gone out either hunting or thieving, so all I need to do is get the old sow drunk so you can escape easily." The robber girl leapt out of bed and ran over to where her grandmother was sitting by the fire. "Morning, Gran!" she cried, tugging at the old woman's beard and kicking her playfully on her enormous backside. The old crone swung a fist, but the agile little girl ducked easily and pulled the old hag's nose. Two girls were restless all morning, and the robber girl taunted her grandmother endlessly and engaged her in mock fights and horseplay to tire her out. Stay tuned for part 3.